Hi everybody, back today with a second episode about heat and performance in the heat. So, last time we covered what kind of happens physiologically to you when you train in the heat, when you try to perform in the heat. And real quick review, heat is like our governor. Internal temperature, external temperature, both of these things can act as a governor to reduce your total output or put a cap on it during performance. So today I want to go over a little bit about who is affected by the heat the most. And kind of some ways to work around it. So first thing, age affects us in the heat. If you're over 50, you're definitely going to be affected by heat. And then under 18, I just use 18 as a cutoff point. Because we'll talk about outliers toward the end, but juniors and children definitely affected by the heat. They just don't thermoregulate as well as somebody who's in their 20s or 30s. Women, this is not a sexist statement. It is just scientific, currently fact, that the average woman is more affected by heat than the average man in a performance circumstance. That's not to say that it's across the board. If we take an average man and a really well adapted to the heat female, she's probably going to kick his ass. There's no doubt. But all things being equal, the heat will have a greater effect on female athletes. And then some other things to consider that might impact is how much time you spend in the heat, how much training you've done in the heat, any medications. Certain medications can definitely have an impact on your ability to thermoregulate. So anything that, and I use medications kind of broadly because caffeine can be a medication, but anything that's a stimulant will generally cause you to have low. I'll wait till that's done. It's a good day here. Colorado Springs got a nice little thunderstorm rolling. Anything that acts as a stimulant will generally reduce your tolerance for heat. So kind of stay away from the caffeinated drinks, or stay away from increasing your amount of caffeine or stimulants that you might take in when it's hot. So those are the things that are going to affect how you perform in the heat from I'm going to say out of your control, though the amount of stimulant, caffeine, or other medications you take in might somewhat be in your control. Here comes a good one. But gender, age, and are not going to be things that you can control. What you can control is how you prepare. So the more you prepare for heat situations, the better you're going to be in those in relation to the average person, that gender or that age. So that does not necessarily hold true for children. We'll say maybe under 12, 13, just because they haven't developed the ability to adapt to that heat yet and thermoregulate. once they really go through puberty, that's when they get that ability to thermoregulate a little bit better. But again, that's very individual, and the timing of it is a little different for everybody. So do your heat training, ease into it. Don't, like, if it's 100 degrees out today and you haven't done anything outside, don't jump into that. If you've done most of your training indoors, you're probably okay, as long as you make sure you're hydrating and cooling well. The next thing I kind of want to cover today is environment. Obviously, some environments are more humid than others. That makes cooling more difficult than a more arid environment. Since I live in a more arid environment, I notice it significantly. A 10-15% swing in humidity go from you don't feel sweat on you at all to why are there sweat stains on my top tube and my sunglasses. So I can notice that significantly, because normally it's just evaporating and I'm cooling, but just that little change, it's not evaporating as effectively, I'm not cooling as effectively, and therefore have to adjust things. And that kind of rolls into my next point. The more time you spend training in heat and adverse conditions, the more you get to know your body. And that's one of those things that sets the really high performers apart from the averages. They know their bodies well, and they can adjust on the fly to changing environmental conditions. So do your heat training, hydrate, try to make it as cold as possible. I know it's hard when you're out on a 5-hour ride, and it's 90 degrees already, but do the best you can. Cool yourself. If you're somewhere where it's gonna evaporate, put cold water or ice in your jersey pockets, down the back of your jersey, on your neck, the fronts of your thighs, on your bibs. It's going to evaporate there because it's hitting the wind. Your forearms, because there's a lot of vascular surface area on your forearms that's close to the skin, and that's why it's there, to get that evaporative cooling going on. So those spots are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck for cooling. Episode 3, hopefully I get that knocked out later this week. We're going to be talking about other tips that you can use to cool a little bit better. So hope everybody enjoyed this, and please let me know if you have questions. Have a great day.